He who controls the past commands the future. He who commands the future conquers the past.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Augmented Reality Combat Flight Simulator, or ARCFS, or ARCFS, a place where we try to use a simulator to play sim battles. Today's aircraft is the A-10 Thunderbolt II, or Warhog, or Warthog, Warlog, Hogwart, whatever. Alright, so I'm gonna change the video schedules a little bit. I'm gonna post weekly. There's like a 50 chance that it might not be weekly, but still. One video at a time. So the first video is going to be this, like a sim guide or a normal guide, or, you know, it's a MISC video. Anything that I'm going to post in personally myself. The second video is going to be like a general ultimate guide. For example, the next one is going to be the A-10 Warhog, but yeah, generally all these videos are going to be figured out like this. One video is going to be MISC, the other video is going to be an ultimate guide. I hope you ladies and gentlemen enjoyed this video. Now the first thing I'm going to do here is to show you the flight instruments of the A-10 and the HUD that it has, which is, the HUD system itself is basically right over here. And this is the entire cockpit with pretty much a lot of instruments to go through, but we'll go through it one by one, so don't worry about it. Now on your left side of your instrument, you have the clock right over here, you have the angle of attack indicator over here, you have your speed indicator in knots. This is your actual speed, this is your maximum speed, the maximum speed that is shown in here. You have your radar warning receiver, a very good one indeed. This shows your climb angles and like climbing or diving, I guess. That quite works, but honestly it's useless once you have these guys over here, you know, the angle indicators and whatnot. You have your attitude indicator right over here. You have your compass. This entire panel is basically your weapon selector mode. As you can see in here, it says weapon stations. Shows in like each pylon and whatnot. And generally, you know, if say for example you put in the weapon selector mode on, it should be able to work, but in Warthunder, it just, you know, this part is totally useless too, so no info is given here. You have your climb rate indicator, I guess. You have your altitude meter. You have this entire section dedicated to engines and whatnot. I'll get into this guy later. You have your fuel indicator here, how much fuel you got. There are several instruments that are pretty much useless in Warthunder. Like you have oxygen regulation section over here. You have your radio section. You can post stash there, you can put dogens there, or your phone, or Bible, or whatever. This is your basic, as a heli player, I'm just gonna call it a collective pitch. But this is your acceleration lever. If you put in your air brakes, this thing will just, yeah, I'm stupid, don't worry.
But yeah, let me just close the cockpit first. You see the air brakes? The air brakes are just ailerons, and once you turn the ailerons to left or right, these guys just, it's a very weird one, I have to say. It is very much interesting. But yeah, this is how it is. That's your air brake, that's your flaps indicator, which as you can see, in 10 degrees, or 9 degrees I guess, 8 degrees, it is on takeoff flaps. On the 20 degrees it is on landing flaps. This is your flaps indicator, this is your gear lever, this is your gear indicator to show you if it's down or not. Right now it's down. But yeah, this section. Okay, yeah, you have your MFD here just in case if you want to lob Mavericks and whatnot. You have your engine section. This is your engine RPM, of course, in the most classic American fashion. You have the tiny arrow over here, and then this indicator, the RPM percentage. You have the oil pressure. You have the, I guess, the turbofan temperatures right over here. This is your turbofan RPM. If you turn on the engines, you see those fans? Those fans start f***ing spinning.
And once they start spinning, you can fucking see the speed over here, right? You have your fuel flow, how much fuel each engine is consuming. Then you have your auxiliary power unit section and its temperature, but
as far as I know, we don't have the auxiliary power unit here right now, so yeah, that's
f***ing useless. But yeah, this is the part. Let's just turn on the engines first and see what are we gonna expect. Okay, you can see slowly starts turning. Yep, beautiful. Yeah, the engines are online now. Now this part of it, okay. So you have, I guess, your G indicator, acceleration indicator. You have your angle of attack indexer here, which would show you a yellow arrow pointing up, a red arrow pointing down, and a green circle. This is pretty much common on Navy aircraft in, say, for example, American Navy aircraft. If you played the Skyray, the Phantom, the Tomcat, you're pretty much familiar with this guy. You know how to use it. This is your compass. I guess on-flight compass, it just shoves something right over here. You have your HUD, and I think this is pretty much it. Yeah. Also, this is your canopy door. See that? Now let's take off and see how the engines and the flaps are going to react in general. To 100%. So don't worry about it. I put it in mouse aim and 20 degrees angle, so that should be quite fine. But as you can see, the engines are like this. I'm going to disable the camera for now. As you can see, the flaps are at 20 degrees. This is quite incredible. That should be able to go up. As you can see, oh, you see that? You see this guy? You saw it for a second there. Yeah, there it is. You're gonna set your gears up. You see that? The gears are green, meaning that they're on, they're deployed. Put the lever up, that's how it is. And then you see the flaps over here. If I put the flaps on to raise, they will raise the flaps quite fast. And yeah, this is basically pretty much it for the cockpit of the A-10. Now let's get on with the HUD system that this thing has. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Scorpion Squad. As you can see him, my boy with his two 20mm cannons underneath him. And then there's my other boy, which is there. But yeah, now the first thing I'm going to explain from the HUD, this is your speed by knots. Basically 347, 350 basically. Yeah, 348, 350, 3.5. But yeah, that's your speed by knots. This is your altitude by sea level, it's feet. This is your altitude relative to the ground, but just because of the fact that, you know, there's sea underneath us, they're pretty much the same thing, so yeah. But yeah, in general, this thing shows your velocity vector, right? You see this guy here, and this shows the angle of your velocity vector. This is the center nose of your aircraft. I guess, yeah, this is center nose. This is your gun sight, this big bastard. This is your horizon indicator with 5 degrees increments, as you can see. This is your compass. This is the center line of your aircraft. Now let's get on with the CCIPs that this aircraft has. Okay, so generally when it comes to CCIPs and like indicators on what type of bullcrap the A-10 actually has, you can switch to the gun sights and see it. This is basically your seeker indicator. As you can see, it switches to air. So you have the 9Ls on this bastard. So if I turn this thing on and it locks on the sun, you see that? Shows where the seeker is actually looking. If I fire at it, AIM-9 Sidewinder just simply goes. So you have like this circle thingy which indicates how much distance you got. For example, yeah, it's 0.8. The more closer you get, it indicates how much it is. You have the Hydra 70s with a CCIP. As you can see over here, it also indicates that it does have CCIP as well, right over here. Albeit it does flicker quite frequently. I'm not sure what is wrong with it with Gaijin and flickerings in general. On the DR1 is quite there as well. On the Mavericks, for example, say if you want to lock onto something, say for example you want to drop your AGM-65B. First off, it's an afternoon, so it's going to be a hard one. We turn on your seeker. If it works, it works. It's 2.3.
2.3, I guess
It's in miles now, so it wasn't kilometers, but anyway. Yeah, that thing's pretty much shafted him. Very good. My
optimum range on firing down at the Mavericks
is approximately 3 miles. Basically, the range that does actually work on the A10 and the Mavericks, where it actually locks. Just so you know, these are the B variants of the Mavericks, at least on the premium A10. These guys cannot operate properly at afternoons and at night because they're TV guided, not IR guided, unlike, you know, the ones that is in the A10 late. Last but not least, you have the Canon CCIP, which I should enable it by Y67. There we go. Okay, it's easier for me to handle in mousing. You can see the shell type, HEI, explosive incendiary. This is your ammo count, as you can see when I'm firing. And the CCIP is there for the guns, of course, indicates it quite well. I'm gonna get away from the sun. But yeah, in general, the cockpit of the A10 is the visibility-wise, it is quite nice. You can look at your back and have absolutely no problems whatsoever, unlike, I cannot stress this enough, Su-25s, pain in the ass, let me tell you, absolutely terrible. But yeah, the cockpit on this thing is quite nice. It does have a green light to it when you want to basically turn it on at night or evenings to see it better. Now, let me see. Yeah, it is quite nice and decent. It's not really that bad. You do have the MFD, you do have the RWR. It works pretty fine. But yeah, let's head on to some real combat now. Alright, now the A10 has one of the weirdest flight performances at its own BR. When you face up against it, you have to understand your aircraft and the enemy A10 itself. Now, if you can outturn the A10 and still retain the energy, just feel free to do so. But remember one thing, when it comes to slow turn fighting, the A10 is extremely good at it. Even with medium amount of armaments carried by it, it is still extremely lethal. The next threat is going to be the AIM-9L, which it is easy to flare at mid-ranges, although if you're too close and don't cut your afterburner while flaring, it can be problematic. Now, if you don't have flares, either use rockets or do a quick surprise attack, and you better kill the A10 quick because the A10 will get you with a 9L. The next threat is the cannon. The A10's Gao 8 cannon has a big spread when it comes to long ranges, and it has a very good range. If the guy knows what it's doing with that cannon, yeah, you are dead. So what do we do when we see an A10? Well, you have two choices. You either outrun it or energy trap it. The A10 generally has the maximum speed of 700 kilometers per hour, and it can be outrun by vehicles such as Phantoms or MiG-21s or, you know, anything that has above 700 kilometers per hour speed. The faster you are, basically, the better it is. If you energy trap them, well, the A10 cannot do anything but to lob sidewinders at you from like 1.5 or 2 kilometers away. Though remember, while energy trapping the A10, it can take quite a bit of time, and getting third party is going to be something that you need to have a look at. Like, look for your surroundings and understand that at any angle you are going to get shafted in the face. So, yeah, watch for your surroundings as well. Just so you know, if you don't have flares, there is a high chance that you might die to either a third party or the A10 itself. Not having flares is a major key to this one. The A10 is pretty much limited when it comes to radar and camera pods, and the only thing you have is a nice cockpit and a good radar warning receiver, which does not have a lot of info on other radars, so it will mark them as question marks. Watch out for your surroundings as well, because as I said, anytime someone will peek out on you, and unlike the Gulf War pilots, you don't have binos. So yeah, be careful about that one as well. As for the A-10 pilots, please, if you can, visually identify your targets first. Do not fire your sidewinders at any dot you see. Please identify it first. We have F-104s, we have Sabres, we have Phantoms that are in multiple nations. We have the Japanese Sabres, German Sabres, American Sabres, same thing with the Phantom and the F-104. Just visually identify your target, whether if it's by the AGM-65 Maverick camera or by your Mark II eyeball. Just do it. You don't want to lose too much SL that you've already grinded painfully. Now, when you want to go out on ground attack and try to use your Mavericks or GBUs, remember to first identify your target. I understand that the aircraft might be a little bit unstable or it might be a bit hard to spot the enemy, but use the map and your main aircraft heading. Angle your nose towards the enemy and fire the Mavericks. Don't be like me where I made a historically accurate mistake right over here. See that? Yeah, there you go. Now, you may be facing up against enemy aircraft a lot while attacking ground units, but at the end of the day, it is going to be very amazing. I hope you enjoyed this video, ladies and gentlemen. This was a video where I made a little bit off the lore, so this is why I'm here talking rather than a British guy, Scotty Willington. If you enjoyed the content, maybe consider subscribing, liking the video, and give a super thanks or join the membership if you want to. This is me, Bob Dickinson, and thank you for watching.